So everyone, welcome back to our series, Talking Hair Loss. So we've got 12 people, 12 haircuts, and 12 incredible chats about hair loss. Honest conversations in the barber chair about hair loss, thinning and receding, with some advice from me along the way. With new episodes coming every 2 weeks, this is Talking Hair Loss. This series is made possible by our sponsor, Manual. Alright guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman Studio, and welcome back to the Talking Hair Loss series with Manual. Today we've got Tom back in the chair. He's already been before. So, talk to me about your hair loss journey then. What's been going on?
So obviously, last haircut was, when was it? August?
Okay.
Yeah, I've been...
Was that with me or was that?
It was, yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Okay,
that
cool,
was the
cool.
last time, so it's grown a bit.
Nice.
Yeah, I was, suffering with a bit of hair loss. Started all the, the medical interventions and stuff like that.
So what have you been using? Are you still using minoxidil?
Finasteride,
okay.
minoxidil,
oh, cool.
and dermaline.
Oh, okay, yeah, wow.
So
okay.
yeah,
nice.
And honestly, it's made a massive difference.
Nice.
So this is probably the worst picture of it when I was like, wow, I really need to get something done here. So you can see it really thinning out on the top compared to, how it is now. Mm-hmm. And then this is it sort of coming in. You see these weird little curly things coming in at the top.
Nice, wow.
And then that's where the corners were.
Oh yeah.
So
that's when you start to notice. You can see that at the angle, can't you, from the widow's peak there. You can really see it from the widow's peak coming up. Let's have a little look.
Yeah, go for it.
On the hairline.
You can see all little
you really can,
baby
you can
hairs.
See them there? Yeah. There's the baby hairs coming through, yeah.
It's crazy, because if you look back at the previous video and you can see the hairs starting to come through.
Do you know what's
funny? They made a massive difference.
I was going to say, do you know what's funny? When you first came, and I remember you saying you were suffering from a bit of hair loss, and I could see it.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, is that... You could see, obviously, with your age, there was hair loss there. But I was thinking, that's not as bad. Like, I wouldn't have picked a haircut to cover that up. You know what I mean? Obviously, with some people with certain, like recession, for example, you then have to really create a haircut to cover that up, right?
Yeah.
With yours at the time, I thought you'd picked the right haircut anyway. You wanted it kind of down the middle. You wanted it kind of like the flow 90s kind of thing. So it made sense to go for that. But looking at it now,
yeah,
I mean,
it's good. It's straight.
That is incredible. That genuinely is incredible. I mean, the widow's peak almost accentuates a bit of recession, doesn't it? But with that, you can't really even tell. I mean, you can say the widow's peak, but compared to the first video, that's pretty incredible.
It's mad, isn't it?
That really is.
The thing is, I think the earlier you start, as soon as you see it, it's best to just hop on it straight away. 100%. Just to nip it in the bud and
Yeah, no, I mean that's that. I mean, coming from the horse's mouth, right? You know what I mean? It's like it genuinely is true, isn't it? If you've done it yourself. No, exactly. I'm very, very fortunate that my genetics have allowed me to keep my hair as thick as it is. Yeah. But especially since doing the series, that so many people have got onto it. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, a bit like yourself, what you just said then, which is great to tell the viewers, is that it's when you spot it. Yeah. It's when you jump onto it.
It is. It's prevention over cure, isn't it? Exactly, at the end of the day.
Exactly that. Yeah. Exactly that.
Once you get so far down the line, it's gone, and you can't get it back without
Well, the cure is a transplant.
Yeah.
Or something else, isn't it? You know what I mean? So, but no, that's amazing. It's great to see that it's done that. You seem really happy. You seem genuinely confident, which is great. It just shows you, doesn't it? When you get onto it early enough, it works well.
Absolutely.
Nice. So, what do you want to do with the hair then? What's the plan?
So, reach the goal, and now it's time to change it again.
Okay. So, what are you thinking?
I've got a little mood board.
Let's have a look.
So, completely changing it up again.
Okay.
Something like that.
So,
I want it still like the length in the back and the sides, but just a bit more. Like
people post anything, don't they?
Yeah,
they really do.
It's when you look on Pinterest and you see it's what's on the head. Okay, it's Justin Bieber hair.
Do you know what I love? Right, I've never ever thought about posting a selfie while I'm brushing my teeth.
It is.
But I guess
But it's when you look on Pinterest, it's like right, that's the one that shows it exactly.
That's the one.
That like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that stands out to me.
Yeah.
His hair's a lot finer than yours.
Yeah.
That's the sort of I would say based on your hair texture.
Yeah.
I reckon that's probably the better one
to
go for. Even the length's nice as well, to be fair.
Yeah. But still definitely like a bit of, a decent amount of length in the back and sides.
Yeah, of course, that's fine, But I think looking at that one, I mean, the thing is you've got a very strong facial structure, so you can go for a slightly more rounded finish. Yeah. If you look at the haircuts, if you look at like this is a really good mood board to show a round shape. Because then we work a lot on square shapes, especially when it's short. Even when it's longer, we work on a lot of square shapes. Yeah. But you've got a strong enough jawline. You've got masculine features. It's always good to go for, like, you can always get away with a rounder shape. So as you can see, there's the shape at the top.
Yeah.
So these are
that one there is what I was thinking. Maybe it'd sort of grow out to.
It would, yeah, exactly. It would grow out to. Yeah, the only difference with that is it'll grow out to, but the fringe is shorter.
Yeah.
So the only difference that you'd end up doing when you get to the length on the back and sides that you like, then that would be essentially how you get the fringe.
Get the kitchen.
The only thing though I'd say is now you've got your hairline.
Yeah.
It's very low.
Yeah.
So his is a lot higher than yours.
Yeah.
So I think you might want to just be a bit careful. You might want to keep your fringe kind of slightly over your eyebrows when you get to that point. Only because I think it might look a bit. It could just look a little bit out of balance. It could look a bit more like a 70s kind of shag hairstyle than this. You know what I mean? Because of how short the fringe would be compared to everyone else. The only thing I'd say I'd be careful, but that's something you can look at. But again, these are always the things that when I used to see this, this was like the mid 2000s sort of way of wearing your longer hair. You know, a lot obviously lately it's all been off your face, brushed back. Whereas this was back in like the sort of like the mid 2000s. You look at any film in the 2000s, they all had these kind of hairstyles. You know what I mean? So we're kind of bringing it back from the 90s to the 2000s. So, but yeah, we can definitely do something. I think that would be. I saw that and I thought instantly that would be the sort of look. Let's
go for it.
Let's go for it, mate. That was a pretty nice, easy consultation. That buddy. Nice one, man. Nice one. Well, we'll give this a shampoo and a condition, and then we'll get into cutting the shape. So before we get into it, we just want to say a massive thank you to the sponsor of this series, Manual. Our first video with Manual worked out so well, and the partnership was amazing, so we wanted to bring more videos to you. So if you don't know, Manual is a British company dedicated to becoming the destination for men's health. Manual offer tailored and medically approved treatments for a variety of issues specific to men's health. And obviously it's their hair loss treatments we're talking about today. Best thing about it, it's all online. You visit the website, you answer a questionnaire about your medical history and receive a treatment recommendation. Your information goes to a specialist doctor on the platform, and from there you're consulted on a specific treatment plan for your case. You receive the products at home on a recurring basis and with a medical follow-up throughout. Manual were kind enough to send us some of their products, and we've had their hair loss treatments out on the shelf at our Regal Jumpman studio ever since. So let's go over here and see what they got. So guys, this is the Power Shampoo. This is an everyday shampoo. Revitalizes your hair. It's got a sense of stimulation in there as well, so you can really feel it going to work on the hair and the scalp as well. We've got the 5% minoxidil as well. We've also got the finasteride tablets as well, and the hair vitamins, which I am currently using as well, and they are fantastic. And Manual have also been kind enough to offer you a discount to celebrate this series on the channel. The code's on the screen now, but it's also in the description if you miss it. And the link to follow is also in the description below. So click that to find out more about Manual and their hair loss treatments. And a massive thank you again to Manual for bringing this series to the channel. So carry on watching this, because you get some great advice and you'll also see some really good finished looks for anyone with any sort of hair loss problems. But thanks again, Manual. Right guys, so just shampooed and conditioned Tom's hair. So I'm gonna get into cutting in the shape on the back and side. So I wanna keep a fair amount of length, but I do wanna take some up though. I wanna make it more like the haircut that we've been looking at on the mood board. That's the main thing. So we do have to change the shape around quite a bit. Now, based on the last haircut, which is what I did in August, you said, right?
Yeah.
It's obviously going to be a very different kind of cut, top heavy, whatever else. So there's going to be quite a lot of length coming off in terms of like the interior of the shape. So that's what we want to kind of focus on today, because you want to kind of leave the ends quite broken. Everything's very heavily textured, towards the ends and things. So it's a different way. I still start with palm to palm, but it's a different way of finishing the ends. We use a lot of razor in this today as well, to get a really broken finish. But again, essentially it's changing the shape around to go from a slightly more rounder shape. So cutting the crown shorter, falling that into the side, so we're not keeping that kind of corner in there. We're almost taking the corner out essentially. So Tom, you are one of our success stories, shall we say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, we haven't had anyone back in yet. Obviously, we've only just started the series, so it'd be really interesting to see if we can get like Jamie back in or whatever. But I think because seeing the difference in your hair, you've obviously took really well to it. What would you say was like? At what moment would you say you noticed the difference of the hair?
Well, I think I'd say it was about 6 months in.
Okay.
That's when you started to actually notice, like, it's making a big difference now.
Now, where was it you noticed it? Like, was it like a photograph you noticed it on, or was it like just looking in the mirror, or what was it?
More so just looking in the mirror, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
But it's you can tell that the hair starts to thicken up, and the main thing for me is that obviously people suffer from different types of male pattern baldness.
Yeah.
And I think mine was more like a general thinning on the top of the head.
Yeah, definitely,
Whereas some people, it goes from the the corners and starts to recede there quite rapidly.
Yeah. It's prematurely though as well, right? You know, it is obviously, you know, you're how old are you now? 25?
24.
Yeah. 24. Okay. So obviously that's quite premature to start losing your hair. It's usually 30s is the kind of the average age, isn't it? Early 30s.
Yeah, when you start to panic. You're like, shit, I'm 24. Like I can't lose my hair.
Yeah, 100%.
At this point in my life.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean that's the thing. I can't relate to it, but I can only imagine. Do you know what I mean? I can only imagine what it's like, just based on the amount of conversations I've had with people. Which kind of inspired the series, really. But no, it's great that you noticed it on yourself. But yeah, I mean, you know, when you think about people like with success stories, and you think about people like when they start taking this particular like medication, it's usually other people that notice, or a photograph. It's interesting that you noticed it happen. It must have been so obvious for you to notice, like that it was actually changing. You know, you could see in the mirror, because I think it's a bit like, you know, like for example, like the only thing I can relate to is like weight loss. I've lost a lot of weight. I didn't notice I was losing weight at the time until you buy a new pair of jeans, or you buy a new t-shirt or something. So you don't see yourself changing. So it's incredible that you noticed that happening. So it must have been such a big change.
Definitely,
You can see it already. I mean, look at the amount of hairs that are coming through. You can see them.
The little baby hairs.
Yeah, the baby hairs. Yeah, you can really see it coming through. Okay. I can't wait to see the videos side by side.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. That's what I was quite looking forward to.
Because the thing is, like, as everyone knows, I don't know who's coming in. So I didn't know you were coming in this morning. So I'm gonna have to watch this back after your hair now and just see the difference. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. And I think the thing is, you notice it when it's you as well. Because I think if you looked at my hair when I noticed it was thinning, you'd look at it and I think most people wouldn't really know that it was thinning. They wouldn't point it out. But when it's on your head, you do notice it. Yeah,
definitely. When it's yourself, right? You know, it's like I think we all have our own insecurities, don't we? We all have we're all like a bit body conscious, or we're hairline conscious, or whatever. You know, I'm gonna say the biggest thing that I've taken from you coming in today is that if you think about the last haircut we did, it was for your hairline. Yeah. And now you've started this medication, or you continued on this medication, and now we're not picking a haircut for your hairline. No, exactly. We're picking a haircut that you want. Yeah. So it just shows that once you reversed the hair loss, or you've got to a level where you've stabilised it. Yeah. Your haircut shouldn't be dictated by your hairline. No. It should be dictated by what you want to go for. Yeah. So I think that is, hopefully that could inspire people to really start to look into this, because the amount of haircuts, like if you look back at the series that we've done so far, and obviously there's more coming through as well. What you'll notice is that the haircuts we've done, we've had to do the haircuts for the client's hair loss. Yeah. We haven't been able to do it. We haven't been able to give them a style that is for them.
That they want.
If you get what I mean. It's always been predicted by what the hair loss is like.
Absolutely.
Whereas now you're just like an average client with a nice full head of hair, and we can do what we want. Yeah. So it just shows what it can do, what this can do for you. You know. Yeah.
And the thing is as well, I think it can have a different effect on different people. And I've been quite lucky with, you know, the medication having a good effect on me. Yeah. Definitely. I think some people it might not work as well, and you know there's side effects and stuff like that some people are quite unlucky with. Thankfully, I haven't had any of that. But you know, some people do get that. But no, I've been very lucky, and I'm grateful for that, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. It's nice that you haven't had any adverse effects from it. Yeah. Because that is always the risk, isn't it, with medication, is that you're going to get some sort of bad reaction to it. Yeah. That's why it's always interesting, like especially when you go, if you do anything through manual. Yeah. Then you speak to somebody beforehand, so you don't just get it off. You don't just go into a shop and buy it and then start taking it. You have a full consultation with a medical expert. So it's they'll give you all the advice. They'll ask for all your medical history. You know, it's not just going to be given to you on a whim. And I think that's what people think. It's like just you can just go and buy it online and that's it. And then you start taking it. You know what I mean? There's a lot more to it than that. There's a full sort of consultation provided before you go and do it. So if anyone ever is interested in doing it, if anyone out there, right, saw Tom and thought, you know what, you've watched Tom's previous video and now you're seeing where he's at now. I mean, when like this, we haven't magically kind of put some like hair fibers in here or not like that. This is just as Tom is, right? Yeah. If this is something that you've been inspired by, go and do an online consultation. and see if it's for you. You know what I mean? You don't have to commit to it. You can just see if it's going to work for you, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes to plan, and you end up, with the results that you're getting. You know what I mean? Well, let me just jump into the haircut. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm working palm to palm, as I usually do on a length like this, and I'm working down to the bottom. Now, when you're doing palm to palm, what you'll notice is that the bottom always stays with some good length in it, because as you're pulling it away from the head, it always does concave inwards, right? So you always end up tend to leave a lot of length around the perimeter when you are doing these haircuts, and you tend to go a bit short through here, just from the head shape dipping in. So as you pull this out, obviously it's shorter. The highest point of the back, or the furthest out point of the back, is the tip of the bone, but also through the sides. It's like when you pull it straight out, the head does concave closer towards the jawline and the ear. So you'll always have it a bit shorter up here and a bit longer at the perimeter. Now, I need that on this haircut. So doing palm to palm allows me to maintain and isolate the bottom. So if you look in the mirror, you've already got flicks coming at the bottom there, which works for the look we're trying to achieve. So with the bottom, I'm going to leave that most of that length in there. I'm going to tidy little bits up. I'm going to leave most of that length in there, because by almost isolating it with the palm to palm, it creates that broken end that I need, which works really well. And then you can texturize the interior, the top sections up here, and that'll create everything broken up. So I think this technique works really, really well for the look that you're going for. It not only does it work well for flow haircuts, things like that, it works well for these hairstyles as well. So again, it is just a technique that you can utilize on the majority, I'd say 95% of haircuts you can do at a certain length. So again, taking sections, 2-finger width sections I'm working on, because we're taking away some length, but we're also maintaining length. So again, the wider the section, the more length you leave. The smaller the section, the more length you remove. So just remember that. Now, again, as you can see, if I pull this out, there's my guide behind. So I'm losing quite a bit of length up here. Now, I'm going to take the top shorter anyway, but the perimeter is the thing that makes this haircut look long, pretty much. I know the top is still heavy, and the sides and the back tend to have some length in there as well, but it's the perimeter that creates this look. So if you look there, from the previous haircuts, you can see the neckline is shorter where we tilt that up, and obviously the length has grown out through the middle. So as I take this away, I'm almost leaving the length at the bottom as I pull that back, right? See, not much is coming off the bottom. So we're maintaining that length along the perimeter, which creates this look. So if you look at all the pictures, it's all long and curly at the bottom. Apart from that one that I picked out, that was a little bit short at the back and sides, but that was just me. That was more the hair texture that I was going for on that one, not necessarily the length. But again, Tom wants to have longer hair, so I don't want to take him back too far. But I also need to take some length off to create the shape. This is at a time, these haircuts come from a time when salons were very popular. Barbering wasn't really popular at this time. It was a lot of salon hairstyles that were doing like that, or a lot of people going to like hair salons were getting this haircut, because it was generally done a lot in a salon. It was a lot of it was scissor work, a lot of it was like through your fingers. And we're going back to a time of like the 2000s when barbering wasn't really huge at all. It was very much about going to the hairdressers to get these looks. Barbers were just the short back and sides, the short haircuts, and that was kind of it. Not a lot of barbers would be doing these type of haircuts, because I remember working in one, we weren't getting these hairstyles in at all until I moved to a more looking salon that got a lot of these hairstyles in a lot more. You get to 2010, 2011, that decade, that's where the barbershops came around. That's when you got the Peaky Blinders, the sharp fades, the pompadours with the big one, the pompadour, or the pompadour skin fade, side part. That was really popular. But this was generally at a time when hairstylists were really popular, and a lot of guys would go into salons looking for these kind of longer hairstyles. Because I always think when you are in this industry, you've got to future-proof yourself. Like, you've got to learn how to blow dry longer hair. You've got to learn how to, look at longer trends coming in, longer hairstyles, or even just learn to cut longer hair, because trends come and go. It's always a cycle. We're just recycling, essentially, and putting a bit of a different twist on it. You know what I mean?
Which is your sort of favourite style to kind of cut?
My favourite style to cut? I don't know, I get asked this all the time. I don't know if I've got a favourite. I think it depends on the day. or depends on the client, I think. I'd probably say, like, I love working with longer hair. I love working with, like, medium length hair. I do love short haircuts as well. I'd say the biggest thing I like, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a hairstyle, but I'd say it's the sort of finish of a haircut. I like working with texture. I love working with, like, textured finish. I love that. That to me is just awesome. Because it just gives you like a finish that is, I just love like lived in looks. I think that comes from the decade I started in. I started at the early 2000s, so that was kind of my sort of intro to barbering, or into men's hair, should I say. So it was a lot of like messy bedhead It was like bedhead, basically. That was the kind of, that was what we called it back then, that bedhead look. So it was when like clays were kind of brought out for the first time to create them kind of finishes. It was that kind of generation, you know. And that's what I used to love. I used to love them finishes. I think my favourite hairstyle to do is something that has got a lived-in texture. So whether it's short, medium, long, I think I love working with different textures. Now, as you can see here, I'm cutting in and I'm point cutting into the broken ends of Tom's hair because I want that really broken and I need them curls to really flick out. Don't want to take too much off through these bits here. We want to kind of keep them quite natural looking. Through the bottom though here, I can take that up a little bit more. This style will really benefit from losing quite a bit of length down the bottom. So I'm going to use this as a guide from the right hand side here where that comes down. And I'm going to take away this length through here. That's probably going to be the best. Because again, we want the side flicks. We want these bits to be the most prominent. We don't want the nape to be the most prominent. So I'm going to cut into these bits here. Just lowering the head down a touch. Just cutting into that bottom bit there. I will go over with the razor as well, just to break up the thickness, because that'll build up a lot of bulk. Because if you look at the length above it, it's almost hanging over the nape by doing that. So you want to break that bulk down as well. As you can see, it's matched up to the other side. So as you can see, we're not losing a lot of length off the perimeter, but if you think about how much length came off in the sections above it, that's where you're keeping that length down the bottom. That's what, again, I was saying at the start, it's what creates this look. You need that kind of isolation at the bottom to really show it off and have them sort of flicks almost kind of just sticking out of nowhere, because that's essentially the look. It's very uncut, it's very natural looking. I'm just working on the razor, just breaking the ends up, making it a bit shorter down the bottom, making it look really lived in, very jagged, very serrated finish, like that. Now, spin it around. This one we'll re-texturise through here. Now don't forget, we've already got the section and pattern in, so that's going to add the texture to it. These are very heavily textured hairstyles, so I really want you to go to town on this. You see, getting all that movement coming in. I'm going to cut this in to frame the face as well. But all this now, I'm going to town on this. I'm going way more overly texturised than I normally would. If you compare, say, the texturising I did for Tom's hair the first time he came in, I can go to town a bit more now because it's thicker, essentially, as well. This needs to be very broken, very jagged. Right, so I'm going to weight this down. So as you see, I'm bringing this out with my fingers now. I'm not combing this out. I'm bringing this out from the crown with my fingers because we need it to fall naturally. Now, Tom's got a double crown, which is great for this haircut.
Is it?
Yeah, because it creates a movement of its own already, because it goes forwards and back. So it creates its own movement. There's Tom's double crown, you can see. Let's turn it around. There's one, and there's two.
I remember this one time when I was a child, and I went to the barbers, and my mum asked for this one haircut, and the lady, like, she just completely messed it up.
Really?
And I think she must have, like, that's the look. Yeah.
That's a look, mate. That's a look.
Yeah. Oh, done.
High School Musical. Zac Efron in it right now, you know?
And I think she must have like slipped or something, and it went all the way down to the scalp. And we're like, right, we're just gonna have to buzz cut it. And this is at a point when like my front teeth had started to fall out. I grew up in Liverpool and the Wirral, and so my front two teeth are gone. Wearing a football shirt all the time as a kid, and I've got this skinhead. I look like an absolute football hooligan. Well, it wasn't a good look.
But I'm just working from the back now. So I took a section, which is a finger width from in front of the crown. So when I say in front, I mean towards the front, towards the fringe. And I work one finger width sections all the way through, because we're taking quite a bit of length off the top. I'm working it from the center out to the corners, and then we're going to connect it into the sides as well. So again, we're going to essentially do this top as though we were doing like a normal sort of short back and sides finish on the top. So just like maybe obviously a few inches on top, and still kind of using the head shape a little bit to create this look. So I'm not going too square with this. Just working across the top. I'm following the guide that I can see coming through my fingers. There's the guide that I'm following. I'm working that all the way through, pulling the fingers straight up. So as pulling it straight up, as you see, the head naturally dips at the front. So you'll get it being a right length, a bit shorter through the center where the apex is, and then a lot longer towards the front. There'll be still quite a lot of length at the very front because it's a natural over direction, as you see when you pull this straight up. Like that. So you'll still leave a fair amount coming through the front there. So start on from here, and as you can see, I'm going to weight this across the corner. You connect the two. There we go. Take away that point. pull it out, and there's your guide. And you've got 3 guides. You've got right, left, and also through the section as well from behind. So obviously with your hair being sort of at its best, should we say? How has that changed you? How do you feel after all this?
Definitely more confident in, my hair, the way that I look.
Yeah. Did you notice was your hair taking away a bit of confidence, would you say?
Probably, yeah. Probably. I think it does, and it's weird because it is, at the end of the day, it is only hair. It doesn't change you, but it does feel like a part of you is being taken away, which sounds so dramatic, but it does.
Yeah, I don't think it is dramatic at all. I think that's a very fair way to look at it, because it is a part of you being taken away without your say.
Yeah. You got to give it a go, haven't you?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, definitely.
Otherwise,
definitely.
you'll never know.
Definitely. So again, just working on the same idea as before, working from the middle out to the sides. So we've got our guide from here and also through the section as well. There we go. We just take that corner away.
I think it's worse for younger people as well. That being said, I'd probably get to 30, 40, 50 and still feel the same as most people. I was going to say,
do you know what? I don't know if, I mean, obviously that would be the obvious, wouldn't it, to think that. But I think hair loss across the board is probably not a nice feeling in general, from no matter what age. I think if you get to maybe, I don't know, if you got to maybe your 50s or something, it's obviously expected, right? I think it's the expectation that you are going to lose your hair at some point. I think that's okay then, I guess. It might be easier to accept. But I think if you're in your 20s or your late teens, 20s, even even into your 40s, I know I've got a lot of clients who've started losing their hair in the 40s. They're still not happy with it.
No.
They're still gutted about it, you know what I mean? So,
well, it changes like the way that you look so much, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, definitely, definitely. I'm just taking a section down the centre. I'm just going to connect in the top into the fringe. So this is going to dictate where I put the fringe in now. So we need a shorter fringe. I want this to fall, not too short though. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to cut this on this angle. I'm going to cut it so it just falls just over the eyebrows. Okay, so then that will shrink up a little bit, and then when we put texture in it, that'll fall quite nicely. But just gives us options. There's just a nice graduation into matching the length up to either side. So you see there's the length that will fall into now. So when that shrinks up, that'll have a lot of wave and a bit of movement in there as well. And use this as a guide as well. Pick this up, here's the guide, and pull this out. I'm really looking forward to watching the video back,
Yeah, me too.
Old one. I really am. I just cut into the ends as well, just to break them up a little bit, like so. And cut the sides into frame. So we'll use our guide from the fringe down to the side bends. Now, last but not least, the crown. So I've left the crown, as you can see.
2 of them.
Yeah, both of them. So there you go, there's all the length in the crown. So you've got the underneath and you got here, right? So all I do is I pull everything from one side over. I use the guide from here and cut it in. Cut it in. Now what this is doing is maintaining the length right on the crown. I run the risk of not taking this method into account. If the hair gets shorter and shorter, the crown could stand up. So by doing this, it's just, again, prevention over cure, right? We're just making sure the crown is definitely not going to become a bit of a kind of problem area for me or for Tom. So what we can do, I know it's going to be okay based on the length. So I'll pick this up now. I can use a guide from where we took our first section, and the guide from underneath. I can take that little triangle off because I know it's going to be okay. Again, we want a shorter crown, but this is a really good way of connecting in a crown, right? Even when it goes shorter. Over direct the crown into the guides underneath, so we're maintaining that length at the crown itself, and then you can start to manipulate how you want it to fall. Now, texturizing now. So we'll wet the razor into this. Now the section and pattern alone has created the texture in this top. It's created the movement, the shape and everything else, but we just want to add a little bit more texture in there as well. So I'm going to texturize horizontally, and I'm going to pull it away. This is going to force the hair come back, forwards, move it all around, change the way you texturize with the razor. Pull it back, add a little bit of lift through there a little bit as well, just so it doesn't fall too flat. Slide in. You can just do loads of different texturizing techniques here. As long as you're not going too short, you're going to create a lot of movement. Break that front up a little bit as well. Now, I don't think I'd have used the razor on your hairline last time, mate, if I'm honest with you. So I think it's given me an option to do that.
I feel like there's always one picture that someone looks at and they're like, bloody hell, I need to do something about this.
Yeah, no, definitely. There is. Everyone's got that one photo, isn't there? Yeah, 100%. 100%. Now I'm just going to tidy up the neck here, just so we get a bit more of a natural flick on there. So we don't need all of this here. That's not doing any favours. So let's taper that down first, out the way, and then just wake it up.
That's the most satisfying bit, isn't it? Getting rid of the
Removing
neck.
the neck hair?
Yeah.
It is quite satisfying actually, yeah, because you really you see the haircut come to life again a bit more, you know. Break up that neckline a bit more as well, just slide into it. Like so, just to break that up. And that is us done.
It's good.
Cut and the style done there for you, mate. So in terms of styling it out, okay, salt spray is a good one. And then also working into, I'd probably put like maybe, in fact, you know what? No, I won't. I'm gonna put this product in. It's like a no product finish, but I was using this a lot in my longer hair, and you can blast it in or just let it dry naturally.
Okay.
And you're probably better off letting it dry naturally.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, but obviously for the sake of the video,
yeah,
I'm just gonna dry it very loosely with the diffuser.
Okay,
just
cool.
to get that very natural
Yeah,
finish.
yeah. I got one of them after that.
You got one, yeah?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
cool. So I use probably about a 5p piece size,
Yeah.
maybe a bit more, and then I'm just gonna work this into the hair, like so, just through the fingers. And again, look at the difference in application from the crown forwards,
Yeah.
okay? That's what you're looking for, okay? You're not going backwards anymore, and I'm working this down. So working this on the top layer first, and then once you've rubbed it into the top layer, you can start to work it in to the hair and into the interior of the hair then as well. So the first bit goes on in the way you want the direction of the hair to go, and then the rest is you start working it into the hair, like so, okay? So diffuser on. Now, just gonna style this, put my fingers, just like this. Now you can really start to see the shape coming in now. Pull these side bits out. I hope we see more of this coming into a trend though. I love these looks, yeah, I think they're great.
A bit different, isn't it?
Old school, mate, yeah, it feels old school, you know. It feels it feels like something because I used to do it so long ago.
Yeah.
It's a bit nostalgic for me to do this kind of hairstyle.
What sort of year would this be from?
Mid-2000s, I'd say it was like sort of 2000 and... I would say it was probably around 2005, 2006 I was doing these kind of styles, yeah.
So I would have been 5.
Don't. But yeah, you would have been 5.
That's crazy.
Oh man, that's devastating, that, you know. I'm starting to become the oldest person in the room now, which is a little bit annoying, you know. Right, so tried most of that in, right? And then all we do is finish off with a tiny bit more in the areas that you feel like you need to. So tiny bit more, right? So I'll bring these flicks out a bit more at the bottom. Style these out. So this is where clays really came quite popular with longer hair as well in these looks, because like again, clays gave you kind of like a really like loose, natural finish, you know. So I'm gonna bring that down a little touch, and then keep it a bit more length through the sides and the back, so it wasn't as short as the picture.
Yeah.
But just something that's going to give you a bit more of a kind of more surfery kind of look, like them kind of styles that you see. So almost like a bit like the Justin Bieber finish, but with more length in the top and the sides. You know what I mean? But like the difference in your hair, the texture and everything is just like, it's so natural looking. It looks, it just looks how it's meant to do. And that's it, mate. Just
perfect.
like happy, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Looks cool, man, doesn't it? Yeah, nice one, mate. Thank you very much.
It's a big difference in
huge
the
difference.
style as well.
Yeah, huge difference. I mean, I'll show you what it looks like from all the way around, okay? So if you can hold on to this for me.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm going to spin you around so you can kind of have a little look at it from every angle. So obviously a big change. Use that mirror to see yourself in the back mirror. So there we go. So everything just sits nice and natural looking all over. So it's gone from being
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, back
Yeah.
to forwards. And then you get all these natural little flicks all over and you utilise the texture,
Yeah.
bring it all out. And that's essentially the sort of look that you kind of go for. So again, you can just twist and pull these little bits, make them as messy or as clean as you want.
Yeah, no, I love it, thank you.
Essentially that's how it looks. I'll spin you around this side as well.
Very good.
There you go, have a little look there. There we go.
Great.
Yeah, happy, yeah?
Yeah, brilliant,
Awesome,
thank you.
Mate. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. So good to see you back. So I'm glad everything's going as well, better than planned. I think personally. Yeah. So I'm really happy for you, mate.
And I think it's not even been a full year yet. So I think once it's sort of been a year, you see even better
100%, yeah.
changes. So
they say between, what did they say, 12 to 24 months is the kind of well, 24 months is the sort of the pinnacle of what it'll be like. So it's a couple of years, but if you think about how long it's been taken to lose, 2 years for the rest of your life, potential for a very long period of your life, is not a very long time to wait.
Not,
so no, it'll be interesting to see you again, mate, and see you in like maybe a year's time or something like that, maybe, or even like 9 months time. It would be really interesting to see.
See if it's looking different. Hopefully for the better.
Yeah, oh, it'll be. Yeah.
Nice
Thank you very much, mate. Good to see you again, man.
Cheers.
Thank you. Well done, mate. I'm glad you've done it. You know, mate. I'm so happy for you. Yeah, honestly, it looks great. It really does.
Thank you.
Awesome, mate. Thank you, man.
Cheers.
So thanks again, guys, for watching this episode of Talking Hair Loss with Manuel. All our other videos are here, so if you want to have a little look at some of the videos from the series already, and yeah, keep watching. We've got some fantastic videos coming through.